My name is Justin Day, and I'm a legacy maker because I'm here to achieve greatness. Football, it gave me the guidelines and the rails that I needed to be really and grow to the man that I am today. My coaches would always say, here comes the great Justin Day. I always felt that at my core. I felt like, there's something there.
How did Justin Day overcome losing everything and being in $100,000 of debt to build a thriving business?
My legacy is to make impact on entrepreneurs, to make sure that they overcome adversity and that they can go through the failures and not stop.
Justin Day grew up in a home where business was the main topic at the dinner table, an environment that left a lasting imprint on him.
So growing up in a household where both of my parents were marketing agency owners and business owners as a whole, I really had a understanding of marketing, understood the pain points of clients from a very young age. And while it was kind of weird to hear all the things after my parents came home, standard night at dinner was, you cannot believe what these clients did to me today, or what are we gonna do about getting over the hump with this client, or X, Y, and Z. It was always something, not a lot of family talk. It was more like clients, business, stuff like that. So I'd hear them complaining and listening, just absorbing really. And it's kind of a miracle that I'm in the marketing world at this point after hearing all of the horror stories and everything like that. But it really kind of was my North Star from the beginning, and I always felt myself being gravitated and pulled towards that. So back then they were doing a lot of print ads, billboards, everything that was really a lot more manual. So it was very interesting to hear how they were actually scaling businesses or marketing businesses as a whole in comparison to today, where you have to do all these different digital aspects, whether it be social, SEO, Facebook ads. There was none of that back then, right? So it's a completely different market. So I got to hear a lot from the beginning, which opened me up to a world of just marketing craziness.
Justin overcame the challenges of ADD through football, where he learned discipline and discovered how obstacles fuel personal growth.
Growing up with ADHD was very difficult for me. It's still a challenge to this day, but I learned to navigate through it. It was, I never could sit down in a classroom and just get through stuff. I didn't really care or really wanted to do anything but play football or hang out with my friends. So it really felt like it was holding me back. I realized over time that it was actually a superpower that really guided me towards where I wanted to go in life. Really learned a lot from football, and I know a lot of people are against it, just like Tom Brady says, it's doing these things because they're hard is what shapes you. I had the same coach from my freshman to junior grade, and he really kind of raised me in that way of teaching me how to overcome obstacles outside of my family, but on the football field it's totally different. They really dig in and bring out that man in you and help you overcome those obstacles. Getting cracked in the back and having my vertebrae broken, and that's definitely a big one, right? For about 4 or 5 months I couldn't get out of bed. I'd be in class afterwards and my legs would just be shaking because I had so many nerves that were pinched, and it's still to this day. I'm wearing a back brace right now because I have sciatica now, and I've got all these issues because of the back. But living through that and still being able to do the things on a daily basis is another thing, overcoming adversity. I think we lost every single game for 4 years straight, so that was fun. There's a lot of adversity there. There's not a lot of winning. But that taught me to always just keep proceeding, keep going forward and pushing through things. And really with football is that overcoming adversity and always chasing that.
While trying to find his path, his father's illness brought Justin back to his family and to the early lessons that had quietly shaped him since childhood.
So I was raised in classical piano. I love music. I can just naturally pick up the guitar. I played the saxophone for a while, and I went to college to be a classic pianist and a producer. But I quickly learned that everyone else was much better than me, and also I didn't care to just sit there and play piano all day because I wanted to hang out with my friends in college and like do other things. So, you know, I started a restaurant in college, and I was a waiter and a server and doing all these different things. I thought I wanted to do all that stuff, and I always felt like, this isn't it, this isn't it, this isn't it. So I was always just trying to find that one thing. In college, you know, it just turned out not for me. I just didn't want to go to class, didn't care, loved to party, that was fun, but I just kind of had enough of that. And really, you know, my dad got sick, and he had cancer, and I wanted to be home with him in his final years. And I needed a job, and luckily my mom owned a marketing agency, very prestigious agency, and I was lucky enough to move back to Dallas from Austin and work at the agency and start to learn the ropes, whether, you know, starting graphic design, computer design, all those kind of different things. And you know, I was able to spend time with my dad and the family and learn from my mom actually in the business. My relationship was great with my father. I mean, he also owned a pool business, so I was a pool boy for quite some years, and that was the worst. Cleaning pools in Texas, do not recommend. And I did get to spend a lot of time with him. He was a great man. He really taught me who to be and how to be funny. I mean, he was definitely embarrassed the hell out of me. Everywhere he went, he'd just start like singing out of nowhere. My family was like all this musical family, and it was just the corniest thing ever. That's probably why I was so shy and weird to begin with, because of them. But now I look back at it, and those are some of the happiest memories that I have. It was really hard to be around just because I knew there was an ending to this, right? He had terminal cancer. It was very difficult to be around just because seeing your father kind of wither away over years, because it wasn't a sudden thing, right? It was very difficult, but I'm so glad that I have those moments to refer back to, and just being vulnerable with him and learning from him at an early age and at a late age was amazing. So with, you know, when my father was passing, my mom really had to take the reins on providing for the family. My dad sold his business at some point just to be able to, you know, stay at home and you know, try and recover as much as possible. And I just saw this, you know, this drive and sacrifice from my mom that was just, it was so hard to see how much was sacrificed, because we sacrificed a lot as kids. We didn't do a lot together. It was all business. It was always something for a bigger thing. And I think that's where kind of this greatness within and wanting to create a legacy, right, is because my mom and my parents sacrificed so much.
Every setback led Justin closer to the right path, a passion that had been within reach all along.
Definitely getting bad grades in high school and in college was a like, this isn't for me kind of deal. And then I didn't really grasp. I was always finding, like, trying to do different things, and I've been through, you know, 20, 30 different businesses and ideas, and just always hopping from one thing to another. Obviously ADD, that's a part of it. But you know, I learned so many things at an early age. Failing often and failing early was a great part of my journey. I think after the fourth or fifth business idea of just getting beaten down time over time, I finally figured out, you know, what I love to do with my creativity, understood that I've got something here. Let's kind of now shift towards what my parents talked about, the business stuff that I learned and how they grew, and kind of that organically grew my business over time. I was able to work with, you know, really big names at a young age. That kind of shaped me to understand every single facet of marketing. You know, I started with graphic design. We had a designer for, you know, WordPress leave. I learned how to do that. And then we had a video editor leave. I learned how to do that. I just kind of stepped in and filled all the holes. So that's what allowed me to start my own business, because I had literally done every single part of marketing myself. Whether it be funny videos or pictures or like websites that I just put up and just random stuff, photoshopping my face over, you know, random celebrities just to like get a laugh out of people. After a while, I started to get attention, and people were like, this guy's kind of creative, this is fun, let me hire him to do a graphic design, let me hire him to do some video or a website. And being able to then kind of put those pieces together, I was like, wait a minute, I think I have something here. Failure is key to success. Fail often, fail early. I was lucky at a young age to understand that failure is a key to success. I learned so many different things. Again, having the ADD thing, bumping around to different businesses, trying different things really helped me understand that North Star and where I'm going. And I understood that just because I fail here doesn't mean I'm gonna fail there. It's not something to say you're not good at this or you can't do it. It's those that push through these failures and use them to your advantage, just like the ADD, using that superpower pushes you forward into that greatness.
Structure and optimization became the foundation of Justin's success as he built a marketing company focused on cutting-edge, tech-driven strategies.
Starting my business, we did everything as an a la carte, and we found that there are clients that were actually doing everything all at once, whether that be social media, Facebook ads, SEO, all of it with a cohesive message, we're getting the best results. So I found, okay, instead of doing all these different things that were driving me crazy, I couldn't scale it, let's systemize this and then sell this as the offer, sell this as the package, which birthed SwarmSystem. And I finally had that aha moment of, oh my gosh, this is it. And it took me so many different tries and so many different things and avenues, but I finally felt like this is the greatness that I've been searching for. This is what I'm meant to do, and this is what's gonna impact millions and millions of people. In today's market, it is so saturated. On the scroll life, you just have to stand out. And standing out is really hard, especially if you're just posting once or twice a week, or if you're on random platforms, or you're just doing a TikTok dance or whatever. If you don't have strategy or systems behind this, you're not gonna be top of mind and tip of tongue. And to be top of mind and tip of tongue, you have to be posting every day. You have to be in front of people, but be authentic and be in your organic self. To be able to do any of these kinds of things, you have to have systems. I mean, you and I both know how hard it is to just get one post out. Try posting 3 times a day, 5 times a day, like Gary Vee says, 10 times a day. My God, I mean, that's just like unimaginable, but leveraging AI, leveraging systems, definitely outsourcing is the only way to do something like that. So building systems is the only way to really scale business. Doing an a la carte thing is not necessarily scalable. It's great for a freelancer or a solopreneur, but pouring your heart and soul into a system that's gonna do right by the client as well as your business is the way to keep that authentic drive as well as serve your client the correct way. I actually thrive in chaos. I find myself creating chaos to hit deadlines. I don't know why. I think a lot of entrepreneurs do that. The chaos is really, I had to rein that in because I saw the opportunity over time where I can actually build a business and scale this to millions and impact more people, but I've got to have guardrails. I've got to have systems. I've got to be able to outsource X, Y, and Z. And to be able to do that, the chaos can still remain, but it has to be controlled. So, COVID affected everyone, right? It was a crazy thing to go through. And as a marketing agency that was supporting local businesses, my business went kaboom and it went bye-bye. I had just filed actually for my LLC a few months prior to COVID. And when the paperwork went through, COVID went up and I went down. So far down into about $100,000 worth of debt. And obviously that didn't just hit over time, that hit over the whole span of COVID, right? That feeling was crazy. I mean, lucky for me, I have an amazing fiancée, Joe, who helped get us through everything and just be that support system. But every day I saw the dollars ticking up and up and up, and COVID's still like sitting there, nothing really changing. And I just knew that this wasn't the end. I'm gonna continue to push through, I'm gonna rack up this debt. And I'm going to just continue to believe in myself because I knew COVID had to end, right? At least I was hoping. And it eventually did, right? I was working with a lot of local restaurants in the Dallas area and they all started to come back slowly but surely, but they needed marketing to get their message out there that, hey, we're open. You can order delivery from us. You can come get to-go drinks and like all these different things, but they had to have marketing to be able to do that. So I was lucky enough to hear back from my clients, that left, and slowly build the business back up, slowly overcome that debt. And that mountain, although it seemed impossible to come over, eventually saw the light with leveraging every system in the marketing that I had built to overcome these things.
Justin's love for technology helps businesses save time while staying ahead of trends to grow their brands more efficiently.
I've always been obsessed with technology, building computers, and I love, integrating tech across the board. And it's just so cool because I grew up in building my business, doing everything manually. So I know the pain points of where that started, and now looking here, leveraging AI, how much less time, I mean, my God, I could have scaled my business so much faster 10 years ago, but because I went through all those things, I'm able to do these things and leverage tech and AI in the right way. It becomes so tedious and you get so burnt out just trying to do your SEO or just trying to always record or think of scripts. Now we give the power of time back to people, which is the biggest gift we can give. And that allows them to finally fall back in love with their business and scale at the speed of light. New tools and AI is developing every day. You know, they're using tools like HeyGen to be able to outsource yourself, right? You can record yourself and upload it into the cloud, into HeyGen, put scripts into it and offload it into social. Yes, it's not gonna look exactly like you, but it's getting so close and it will eventually get there, right? Now we're seeing the emergence of Sora with ChatGPT and these incredibly developed in-depth AI videos that are really hard to tell the difference at some point. So now you're seeing social media, you know, pinpoint this is made by AI, and I think at some point, I don't know how they're gonna be able to tell because some of the things that are coming out are just crazy, but the ability to outsource yourself, outsource, you know, all of the work with AI is at a tipping point where everybody should be using it. So I think those that are using it, you know, you're in the right step, but those that aren't using it, you might want to think about, you know, dipping your toe in and getting your feet wet because it's not going anywhere and it's only there to empower you. Skynet, Terminator, maybe. I don't know yet. Things are moving at such a rapid pace, but really if you want to get technical and all the quantum stuff that could happen, the power that's needed to power these things with the nuclear plants and everything, I think it's all coming along and we're seeing that develop. But we are quite a bit of ways from that. I say that a new thing always comes up every day, but we're not, by no means are going to have this world that's going to take over, at least in our lifetime. I have an entire department that is just fully dedicated to automated research and development, whether that be always being on the forefront of understanding the next tools or testing them, right? That's why I developed and launched AImarketingtools.com so that we can give free resources to people to understand what tools actually work specifically for marketing. So we're always testing and being ahead of it and then implementing that in our systems or giving it away as a free resource. So we have a full team dedicated because it's so important to be at the tip of the spear.
Justin's legacy is a powerful reminder. Failure isn't the end. It's a key step on the road to success.
Failing early, failing often is the key. Understanding that you're not going to hit the nail on the head on the first try, right? It's like throwing darts at a board. You're not going to hit the bullseye every single time, but the point is to throw the dart over and over and over. Try, fail, and fail often. Understand that these are the challenges that are going to shape you and get you to the place you're going to be. So my legacy is to make impact on entrepreneurs, to make sure that they overcome adversity, that I can share my story, and that they can help grow and go through the failures and not stop, right? I want to impact others and not be your TikTok guru that hasn't been through it all. I have been through it all, and I'm here today to be able to show others that you can overcome massive debt, that you can go crazy things like COVID. I mean, that was insane. Still overcame it, but the legacy part is to make real impact that's lasting forever. My name is Justin Day, and I'm a legacy maker because I'm here to achieve greatness.